As the playoffs progress, we get closer and closer to the NBA offseason where no one is untouchable for the first time ever. That leaves us with the question, what moves should every team make, from blockbuster trades to free agent signings and to even draft choices? I will answer that in today's video. Disclaimer though, these are not predictions today. Those will be in the future within the next month. It's decision time for the most disappointing team in the Eastern Conference, as they got many decisions to make. Is Paul George staying? What happens to the aging players with contract options? And the biggest thing, what happens with the third overall pick the franchise does not deserve? I look at it this way. You want to compete, and even if you blow it up, you want a foundation around Maxey moving forwards. The options at pick 3 are all projects, assuming the 1 and 2 are locked in. I believe trading back is the best option here. My favorite solution to the offseason is trading back to pick within the 6 to 8 range in the draft. And by doing that, they could draft Konku Nipple, as he'd be a perfect long-term fit and complement to Tyrese Maxey. There are options with Washington and New Orleans, but ideally Cam Johnson is acquired along with the pick, so a Nets trade is most likely the best move for the 76ers, and is what I would try and do. Maximize the third pick for assets that can win you games now, but also have a future on the team. With defense being unfound on the Bulls roster and them having the 12th pick, the solution for their problems is drafting Colin Murray Boyles out of South Carolina. His defensive ability is impeccable both on and off the ball. His limitations offensively are not as extreme as they are made out to be, and seeing how impactful he is on defense, I think he is the best pick the Bulls could make. No Kyrie for a while, many players who need structure in order to thrive. Adding a smart veteran point guard who can play on and off the ball for cheap while being a strong defender would certainly be ideal for the Mavericks. That is why the best move Dallas can make is signing Dennis Schroeder in free agency. They better draft Cooper Flagg too. I hope that isn't even being argued within the organization, since if they don't do that at one, they're stupid. Cleveland Cavaliers fans, you clearly do not have the players to win a title right now. No matter how much depth, how good the team is in the regular season, and how well Donovan Mitchell plays, the team falls short, not even making it to the conference finals. The top-end talent on the Cavs collapses in every big moment outside of Mitchell, and it is clear Donovan Mitchell is not a number one on a championship-level team. Stacking all the depth and assets you have as a team in terms of player assets, landing the number one option needed for them to win is what you need to do this offseason. With Giannis wanting to stay in the East, the Cavaliers can leverage a package around Darius Garland and Jared Allen. Both players could be shipped elsewhere, not specific to Milwaukee, as a third and even fourth team could be on the trade, but that is the main thing I would look to do. Move both of them in a deal that lands Giannis in Cleveland. The team would still retain the depth and add the proven championship one option to complement and complete the team. It would be insane and hard to pull off, but it is the perfect move for them with the East steadily weakening. And if you want to win a title, you need to make a true move like this if you're Cleveland. Shifting to New Orleans, the Pelicans have no money and are extremely restricted in free agency. They also have no clear direction, lack of health, and most importantly, they lack reliability from their players. The smart option is to embrace a complete rebuild and sell the house to build around Trey Murphy and whoever they view as a cornerstone. No matter what they decide, Yves Missi is not enough for the team moving forwards, as the center position is so valuable in today's game, even if the center position is going through an adaptation, so to say. Developing another young center to maximize the potential of the team moving forward is crucial. It is clear that the Pelicans should draft Kaman Maluach from Duke to develop him and Yves Missi simultaneously, and that's what I would do at pick 7. Just draft Maluach and focus on everything else later. Atlanta traded away all of the shooting and off-ball shot making in Bogdan Bogdanovic and, in a sense, DeAndre Hunter this season. Adding a pure shooter is the next step for them this offseason to elevate the shooting. Financials are flexible, so I believe they need to sign Gary Trent Jr. Looking into budget fives is good too. I'd try and draft Thomas Sorber at 13, though. If I'm Boston, I'm doing everything I can to keep Drew Holiday, Derek White, retain Luke Cornett and Al Horford, and then move Kristaps Porzingis and Sam Hauser. Not much else about it. I believe Drew Holiday is needed to win a title again, though, even if he had a down year. I don't care. It's Drew Holiday. Overrated, whatever you want to say. Drew Holiday was the reason they won the title. Don't trade him. Clean house. You blew the De'Aaron Fox era, broke down the team after an amazing 2023 season. There is no way for the Kings to compete in the West as the Bulls with Sabonis is their team right now, and let's just not make the same mistake the Bulls did. Don't try and salvage this. It isn't going to work. What you need to do is blow it up. Trade Zach LaVine, trade DeMar DeRozan, and yes, trade DeMontis Sabonis. Don't let this disaster ruin the 2026 season either. You messed up, live with it, get all you can for these three players, and move on. That's all you need to do this offseason. You need size. I don't care about no Zach Edey, Jaren Jackson Jr., and whoever the Grizzlies got. They have no size. I was saying it all year. I got hate for it, but now they need to add size, and it's not even a debate anymore. The Raptors have a center that would complement the team and does not have as much value as he should. Jakob Poeltl, trade for him as soon as possible. Also, figure out how realistic competing is for you in the long term, because if it's not, just go into a rebuild at this point, since what we just saw was terrible this year from the Grizzlies, except for a little stretch they had in the regular season. I'm absolutely in love with the Nets' potential offseason. There are so many options in the draft. They have valuable tradable players, and there are young free agents for them to acquire. I'm looking at the future for Brooklyn. Darren Peterson is in the 2026 draft class, and the Nets could draft him as the franchise point guard of the future. They have 4 first-round picks this year. Leveraging them to move up in the draft could be a good idea, but with the talent top to bottom and the number of roster spots they have open, using them to try and find the gems of the future with the open roster spots is the best idea. So I'm holding on to the picks. Playing time is going to be given to whomever they draft, making the decision to keep picks 19, 26, 28, and 36 in this year's draft the right move. However, with assets such as Cam Johnson and teams looking to compete landing in the top end of the draft, leveraging Cam Johnson and pick 8 to move up to pick 3 seems to be the best option. Ace Bailey is perfect for the team at pick 3, but if they can't get to 3, remaining at 8 and drafting Derek Queen, someone who needs time to adjust to the NBA, would be the best pick after thinking about it. No matter what happens with Claxton and Johnson on the trade market, they are going to get value from them if they trade them. So Brooklyn, please trade them. The Nets must also acquire Jonathan Kuminga, the restricted free agent from the Warriors, and it will be a very successful offseason if they do that. Detroit basketball is back. I've seen the Zion talks, even the Giannis talks, but I do not believe either of them are great fits for the Pistons. This offseason, I do want them to find the co-star for Cade Cunningham, but the fit has to be just right. It can be a shooting guard. It can be either type of forward. The requirement for them is that they must be a reliable shooter and can play off the ball effectively. Bringing in a star that is ball dominant next to Cade will hurt the team as they run around Cade. That is why I believe there are 2 players that would fit perfectly and one other that, if available, would complement the team well enough to be a viable fit. Tyler Hero's availability might be available, and I believe he'd be a somewhat viable fit in the backcourt with Cade. He's not one of the 2 that I think are seamless fits, however. Look at the Phoenix Suns. They have 2 stars that can shoot, play amazing off the ball, can take over games on the ball, and be perfect complements to Cade Cunningham and the Detroit Pistons. I would not be mad at Detroit if they traded for one of Kevin Durant or Devin Booker. The most important thing this offseason, though, is Detroit re-signing Malik Beasley, as he just showed out in Detroit and found his long-term home. The Clippers can't do much, but they should sign Luke Cornett if they can. With the need for more size, yet shooting is a massive part of the team, the Golden State Warriors should land Bobby Portis in their Kuminga sign and trade that is almost guaranteed. You disappointed so much that I can't believe in your team to win without Jimmy Butler, as Tyler Hero is not a one option, and Bam isn't capable of offensive domination. Understanding that and seeing they would need to land a Kevin Durant for cheap or a superstar, yet they do not have the assets for a true one option, I suggest the Miami Heat should sell high on Tyler Hero after he was an all-star, look at the Bam market, and then eventually enter a full rebuild, as that is the best option for the team. Keep in mind, you're the Miami Heat. Your location is very, 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 very attractive. Players will want to come here. Having the assets to build around a new franchise player would be huge. So you might want to just look at trading Tyler Hero. Could keep Bam, but Tyler Hero needs to be gone after you just maximized his value with how he played this year. I'm just saying that right now. We are hearing a lot about Nick Claxton's, Daniel Gafford's, and many other center options for the Lakers. However, we have been missing an easy, most likely affordable option for the team in Clint Capella. I would just sign Capella if I'm LA. Denver is not going to trade no MPJ, no Gordon, or no Murray, but they can sign players to vet minimums. After being away from winning basketball for 2 seasons since winning a championship, Bruce Brown is going to want to head back to Denver on a minimum, which should happen. Then Taurean Prince should be signed as well. Denver, you sign Bruce Brown and Taurean Prince, I would be optimistic in your 2026 season. So those are the moves you should make this offseason. We have 2 options for the Magic. You can smartly draft Walter Clayton Jr., or you can trade for Austin Reeves and give up Wendell Carter Jr. and someone else with a pick for him. You make the decision, not me. But if I don't see one of these players on your roster, I'll be upset. Anthony Simons is cool, but he's so inefficient, and I'm not sure he'd truly fit with the team, so I'm skeptical of a deal around Anthony Simons to the Magic. As a Suns fan, please trade Kevin Durant to the Rockets for salary filler and all of our picks back. One young player from Houston, too. All I'm asking. I want all of our picks back, and I'll be happy. Let's build around Book. Portland has a simple offseason plan now that they have a perfect foundation for the future. Jeremy Grant and DeAndre Ayton's contracts are ridiculous. Trade off of them, and the offseason is successful. It's that simple. The Spurs are going to add one of 2 players, and the offseason should headline it. They either draft Dylan Harper at pick 2, as he is a generational prospect that you don't pass up on at 2, even if you have Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox. And Harper is the consensus second best player in the class. You draft him. The only other option for the Spurs is headlining a trade around the second overall pick in exchange for Giannis. Giannis or Dylan Harper are the only 2 players that should be a lock to be added this offseason for the Spurs. I don't care about anything else. You need one of those 2 players to start 2026, or I'm going to riot and crash out. $38.6 million a year for Scotty Barnes, $38 for Brandon Ingram, $32 for Quickly, $28 for RJ Barrett, and about $20 for Jakob Poeltl. This offseason, Toronto needs to trade 2 of Quickly, RJ, and Poeltl, maybe even all 3. Financially, this team is too expensive, and they are too bad to be this expensive. Clear some money, please. It makes no sense to have all this money in those 5 players. Why are the Jazz holding on to their players as if they were anywhere close to competing for anything in the NBA, let alone the Western Conference? They just finished with the worst record in the NBA, yet they have players like Larry Markkinen, John Collins, and Colin Sexton. 3 players with value across the league that are being held on to when they have young guards who need minutes to develop that they are holding back. Trading all 3 of Markkinen, Collins, and Sexton is long overdue. The assets they could get from them would be major as well. It needs to be done. Trade those 3 this offseason and embrace this rebuild. A team with a foundation that is looking for their young stars, the Washington Wizards. I am invested in the future of the Wizards. They are, however, one young star away from having the perfect foundation built. They need a scorer. Ideally, Dylan Harper is the answer, although a trade with San Antonio is not likely at all. Even if you have to trade up 1 spot to draft him, Trey Johnson is the player that needs to be taken by Washington in the draft. Washington needs his scoring prowess badly. It is the most important addition they could make this offseason. SGA just won the MVP. The Thunder may sign him to an extension worth about $76 million. J-Dub and Chet have rookie maxes coming soon. iHeart and Caruso are decently expensive. Lou Dort makes money too. So just figure out the financial side of things this offseason if you're the Thunder. I have one thing of advice for the Knicks, and this is their move. Do not make another blockbuster trade this offseason. You have no assets to the point you'd have to send out 2 of your starters and make way for even less depth than you already had. Not worth it. Don't do anything crazy. We see how good they are. They just need depth and a coach that will use it, and they could win a championship within the next 2 years if they don't this year. All the Pacers have to do is re-sign Miles Turner and run it back. Minnesota must retain Naz Reid and move Mike Conley for financial reasons. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm calling the Spurs up and offering Giannis for Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, and Jeremy Sohan, along with 5 first-round picks, including the second overall pick. And boom, that's the deal. The Bucks need a young core and to reload on draft capital. This is the best thing they can do this offseason as they get both of those things from trading Giannis. And it's not like it's just a baby package for Giannis. You're getting a lot of value back for Giannis in this deal. Be smart about it. Trade Giannis this offseason so we don't have to watch him play another minute for the Bucks because your team is terrible. You don't have a young core and you don't have a good veteran core either. You just don't have a good team. Make a deal. Free Giannis all summer. We know the worst kept secret in the NBA is that the Houston Rockets are loading up for a blockbuster trade this offseason. A blockbuster might mean selling the bank, but there are options to acquire what they need that don't require selling the bank. With that being said, All of these options are discussed in the video on the screen, so if you want to know all of the Rockets trade options, click on the video on the screen. Y'all stay safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.